Welcome everyone to the 194th weekly MLP Drawing School live critique stream. It's October
It's really
29th.
Sorry.
Is it already the 29th?
Uh,
Allie, I blame you for the forward progression of time.
I know. I'm trying to stop it. I really
Done to
can't.
us.
I'll end the world. Don't worry.
I
Hey.
still like this place. I live there.
Yeah.
Don't you want time to stop? You're sending me mixed signals.
You have given him a dilemma.
Anyway.
Well, welcome everyone to this stream. As you can hear, we got Allie.
Hello.
And we got Fluffy.
Hello.
It's Fluffy's eye, not cute
And the
Fluffy case.
Ever dead, deadest of dead, living dead, Zom.
Brains.
Yeti Pants. That's your full name.
Yeah. Full title which we never released before.
I think I'm gonna need you to write that out for me.
Okay.
What's mine? It's like DJ Princess Fluffy's either Fluffy. I can't remember. Princess and Plushies and Fluff third or something.
Alright, so let's just kick this off. It looks like no one in our chat has submitted any art, so we're just gonna work left to right.
That sounds good to me.
First one's by test subject 789.
And the other
Dollars.
788.
Well, see, they were also test subjects.
Yeah,
They didn't make it.
they failed because they didn't draw a
No.
horse.
They didn't study enough.
This test subject learned to draw a
But we
horse.
do-
That.
We don't have to worry about you guys studying enough because you're right here in the MLP Drawing School.
Ah,
Which means that
snap.
you're already in the right place.
So they have. I'm creating Maine. English. I'm creating a main for my OC. Would like to know your opinions and what can be improved. Still an early sketch. Alright, so we'll forgive the sketchiness of the sketch, but I'm still gonna say it. You gotta really just stretch out those strokes. Short jaggedy things is like the rapid knife stabbing it, but not ever breaking the skin. You gotta just drive that knife home. Halloween, right? We're allowed to educate people on how to murder.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, sure, it's the one night of the year. I think we can do it.
Yeah, okay.
Touch.
Yeah. No, you're gonna swish. Long swoops. The zoom you're doing it digital, so you get this wonderful advantage of enhancing your picture by zooming in. You go enhance, enhance, enhance,
You move your head close to the screen.
and then you can do these big long swoops. It's great.
And they don't have to be perfect. Like, you can get, like, okay, say I want to do the face. So it's like, okay, I get that. Oh no, it overlapped with the nose, but that's okay. Oh no, that didn't work out so well. Okay, that's fine. We can swoosh. And then, boop-a-doop-a-doo, digital eraser.
Our best friend.
You also have like such a hilarious plethora of tools to correct small mistakes that traditional doesn't get, because digital. But hey,
It's a tool.
they're there. Use your tools. And if anyone goes using your tools cheating, tell them they're wrong, and they can go back to cooking everything over like a fire pit that they have to make by crafting their own sticks. I don't know.
Yes.
Like,
You have to rip them off a tree.
Sticks.
so let's talk hair. Ponies have a lot of hair, like a hilarious amount of hair on top of their head. For the most part, yeah, it erupts over the top of the head, like Allie just did.
Can you expand the canvas up?
No, I can't.
So, oh,
I probably can. Let me see if I can.
because I couldn't. I was trying.
Edit, maybe, file, maybe, expand canvas. Haha, expand up. Don't know. Is that enough?
Yeah, it should be fine. Thank you. But yeah, so I'm seeing you kind of got like a curly, fluffy hairstyle going. And right now, it's super flat to the head. So let's just let's pump it up a bit. Give her something.
You gotta puff that mane.
And
here.
you can still keep this little like bun here that size. That doesn't need to be bigger unless you want it to be bigger. But yeah, you can definitely. And as for the part, that can also be arranged. So, the whole thing here is volume. Don't be afraid of the volume. It is a pony way. It is a hair way, really. It's not just a pony thing. Having overlaps and showing. But yeah, having it go up like that, it doesn't even need to be that. It can be a little flatter. Like, as long as it's not like 2 inches off the head, you'll be okay. I think it's just that it suffered from being super close to the head. And then of course, have a curl back there, and maybe we'll have it separate there. That'll be the separation point. And we'll have these nice, long, flowing wigglies to the curls. Now I would just be careful, because right now we just kind of have this like long cloud. But you can do things to kind of break things up, like start having pieces separate, go in front of each other, have it kind of twirl, make it interesting, instead of just being like a singular floof going all the way down. But yeah, I feel like I'm not really saying anything, but I hope the drawing.
The drawing
You're
shows
saying
it.
a lot with not really saying much.
Give those volumes. Study
volume.
ponies with curly hair. Like, there's so many OCs in the fandom. Study how some people do curly hair. And make it interesting.
Yeah, but overall, your mane's good. It's designful. I really feel sorry for when they lie down and that thing's just like half on the ground.
I think I did a pony with a mane this stupid long. It had, you know, those like sort of like anime curls that sort of go like this, and they're like sort of little tubey like curl like this. I had a pony who had that, but it like went all the way down to the ground on both sides of the head. She was a mascot for a company.
And the other thing with the hair is just moving the tail. It's a little too low on the body and it's very thick. You basically, if you follow the spinal line, go right up towards the top. I love seeing OCs with curly hair, so yay, curly hair.
Much like your own.
So curly.
I'm not biased. Don't judge me.
I'm surprised you haven't put a bandana on them.
They're mine now. Sorry you submitted this OC, but if you read the fine print, I get control of it.
Yeah, we own all the OCs that we.
We're secretly an OC mine. You submit and we steal. No, I'm just kidding. Kidding.
All right, shall we move on to the next one?
Yes.
The only thing I was gonna say about this one was the leg was sort of like coming out of like the forehoof was like coming out of the chest. So just give them a bit of an upper leg. That's
Give
all.
them a leg up in the game.
Yes.
All right, next one is by Mad Dog 18476. Celestia, ready for battle.
Nice.
And they have no comments. So pro tip, asking questions gets responses.
Yeah.
Weird, right?
We like to have questions.
It helps us help you, you know? That way you're getting the most out of it. And it's not just like, oh, but they didn't help me with the thing that I needed help with. But it's like, you gotta know. You gotta know. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I'm gonna give this pony a
Much
bit
like
of
you,
bean.
we don't know what we don't know. I know, crazy, right?
Crazy.
Every pony actually is just a bean. It's with some legs attached. That's the secret. That's the secret of pony art right there. We've given it away. we've given it away before though, so this isn't really a spoiler. So we just start with the bean, and then we're gonna say, okay, so the legs. Let's actually get like a little skeleton going.
Massive spoiler.
Skeleton Halloween spoopy pony
Did you
skeleton.
know? Did you know we're all just an egg and our skeleton is waiting to hatch?
What?
It's true. When you
And
get
we're
those shivers, it means your eggs. It's excited. It wants to hatch already.
But I thought we were a bunch of like squiggly lines in a goop inside a skull controlling a body.
No, no, your skeleton. It just wants to hatch. It's
Ali
excited.
with the theories. Okay, so gonna adjust this a little bit. It's absolutely totally fine if you don't get the anatomy exactly the way it's supposed to be right off the bat, because that's totally okay. Once you've got stuff down, that's the most important step. You know, once you get the anatomy down, like the starting point is okay. Well, like this tummy here needs to be shorter because that's where the thigh is attaching. Cool, let's do that then. You know, it's absolutely fine. Here's the leg that I suck with. I struggle with this back leg, but there we go. There's something, and whatever her thingies look like.
Yeah.
You've done it more like a fleur-de-lis thing. You've done, but yeah.
So the advice I can give about drawing limbs like back legs, because I know I have difficulties with them too. The best thing you can do is draw the full thing.
Yeah.
Like going up and figuring out like, okay, let me get a better color, like.
Draw the thigh on the other side of the body.
Like, so we know if we can put the basic shape of a thigh. So you have the butt circle. I'm just gonna go off of yours since Fluffy's doing a great job drawing. I don't want to color over theirs. So that's the butt circle, right? And then the thigh coming off of it is like sort of this pinched oval. So including that butt circle, we have a pinched oval. So essentially what we can do then is take that idea of the pinched oval and mimic it on the other side. So we have the leg kind of going forward like that. So we take the circle and do the pinched oval again, you know. It's like a weird egg bean. The idea is to get it as close as you can to the other one. But that is just boom, first step. And it feels a bit 2D-ish. You definitely can expand on it the more you learn, and you'll practice and work with shapes that are more 3D, like balls and cylinders and actual egg shapes. But for now, I'm just doing this to like simplify the skeleton, so hopefully it translates. So the next shape we have is kind of like this pokey outy bit. I like to make them like a square or a cylinder or what have you. Boom, like that, and it's like, oh, well the other side will have that too, so we'll give them a little square. Boom. And then finally we have this long rectangle. Just remember, simple shapes we can make it much better.
No. Wires are crossing on the same layer.
Oh no. I made that a little too. Well, 3/4 view, but the idea is just that you kind of use those shapes to build. That's erasing. Oh shoot, we're on the same layer.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Battle. Layer
okay,
battle.
we can make it work. Just our drawings smushed together into one glorious mess.
I hope that helps make sense a little bit. Just breaking the leg down into shapes, and you're using those same shapes to measure out the back that you don't see. And just be careful though, because the mistake I was making was because the leg is the way it is, it made it feel like a 3/4 looking leg, so it looks like I was forcing the body to look 3/4. So you just gotta be aware of that when you're using this method and make sure your shapes line up in the direction that it needs to line up.
Yeah, I didn't do these front legs very well, but you get the idea of this. I sort of see what you were trying to do with the original legs. But the joints weren't really where they were supposed to be. What I would recommend just is it really help you positioning legs. If I just turn off, I can't turn it off. I can't minimize the opacity of layer 3, but there we go. You could just see through our drawings or look at your own page. But where we have this leg, we've got like, oh, she's different color. we've got like the shoulder that goes down here, and then it goes this super long leg, and then we've got this like backwards, this like tiny little cylinder here. That's not like really the way the joints would look in the leg. What I would recommend is just like look up like like pony body reference or pony bone tutorial, pony pose tutorial. You'll find people that I'm pretty sure there are some links in our Discord as well, but you can find plenty of people who are doing tutorials of ponies that will actually show the bone structure. And it sounds like, oh my god, I don't want to study the bones and the muscles. I don't know how they're supposed to interact. I'm not a science student, but like it's fine. You don't need to know like the complete and entire anatomy of like every muscle in a horse's body, but like it definitely helps. Like Ali is drawing on the side here, it helps to understand the structure of like, okay, this part goes here and then this part goes here, and like that really helps understand why we have the shapes in the show that we do, because as a cartoon that is based off of real life is a stylized version of actual horses, and so they got that information from somewhere, and they're trying to represent horses in a cartoony fashion. So do that homework yourself. Just like look at what other people have done to illustrate the bone structure and body structure, and it will really, really, really help to decide, okay, now I understand how the body's meant to pose. I understand which direction things are supposed to bend in and how far, you know, and how long things are supposed to be in relation to each other. It will be a huge favor to yourself. Otherwise, the only other thing I really changed apart from the body and the legs, I appreciate that you drew both wings, but you see a lot of people sort of forgetting to draw the back wing. I personally feel like you could do the wing sort of like in the back here, just like push it out a little bit, because at the moment it's sort of pulled so it's right behind the front wing. So I pulled the front wing down a bit, and I pulled the back wing over to a similar position, not exactly the same pose. It's good to have them dynamic, but it's like slightly further pointed up. You know, the wings won't be in the exact same symmetrical position every single time. If you want to do them symmetrical, that's okay, but you know, they will be spaced apart, so you've sort of got to imagine that symmetry moved into like a V shape. So that's what I did. I just moved the wing back there a little bit. You don't have to do that yourself, that's just a suggestion. It's just nice to separate them, because otherwise the back wing was a little bit too close. Anything else about it?
Okay. Shall we move on?
Yes, sir.
References.
That's like the golden critique.
Yeah. We just go like next one, references. Okay, let's move on to the next one. References.
Next one. Especially when you don't give us questions, so please give us questions.
Please give us questions and critique other people's art. It's lovely when you do that.
So this one is I Don't Know and I Don't Care, titled Depression. And again, the shading is a bit off, I feel. Also, not every picture is happy, colorful, and nice. Life isn't always good. But this took a lot of work, and I'm proud of how well it reflects my current state of mind. There's a filter on it, so if you don't like it, just keep scrolling. Well, we stopped on it.
Yes,
We saw it, we noticed.
I'm concerned about this being a reflection of real life, as most art is, but you know, it happens. Emotions are crazy, terrible things sometimes, and our minds can be crazy, terrible things sometimes, or just crazy, and you know, it happens. But it's good to be able to express yourself. I think that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Art is about expression.
Hell yeah. And we send well wishes your way. I know we won't be able to help with the situation, but you know, we've all gone through things and it's hard. But yeah, send well wishes at least.
And ponies deserve to have feathery wings and magic and not be famished or not be able to talk. Hugs can't solve everything, but they can help. No, yeah, I mean, I think it's a very like I do sort of, I don't like anything dark myself, but I do like the expression of that. I like the creativity behind things like this, where it's like, how can I represent like a raw emotion? Because I've done that myself. I don't really like this sort of stuff, but I have drawn like, I sort of want to call it vent art-ish. Where like I mean there's some like in character like actual part of like Morrissey's story to like paint some scary pictures, so I'm like, oh, I can be creative with those and think about like how to represent like his emotions with them. So it can be a really creative medium to attack. and like different emotions can do different things. Like you can have, if you're like sort of in a really bad mood, you can, like what I've done once is just do like a picture with like really powerful, like stupid high energy strokes, just like angrily scored across the canvas, and that's the energy. If you're sad, you want to do something a little bit more introspective and a little bit more like sort of showing the characters like sort of spirit or broken spirit in a way that shows just like how their emotions are leaking through, and it can be sort of like dark and solemn like this. And I like the sort of color palette you've chosen for that. Like you've got like the little tints of color on the wings, but like they're sort of fading away. I think it's very nice.
So, I would just not forget that there's another half of the character hanging around here. So, even though their profile, they aren't going to perfectly cover up all elements of the second half of the body. So things like the other ear, the wing, the other side of the hip, all of them should be incorporated somehow. You can fake it and hide one or two, but I wouldn't hide all of them. They're gonna be there, especially things like the wings. It's gonna be very hard to perfectly match those up to hide them. So just give hints that the other one's there is all it takes, and you can cover up the rest in post and go, yeah, it's hidden behind there, it's fine. But just the hint of that arm sticking out there, of what is shown in the very, very bright green on this.
With dark pictures like this, it's really easy to redline.
The hip, I would just slightly adjust to give slightly longer hip bones to that one. The only reason I say that is just because you've basically put a perfectly spherical ball on their hip, and they're actually sort of oblong, as we talked about in the last one, the last picture. So I just try and incorporate that back in there. And once again, 2 sets of hips. Consider showing either a little of the back of the hip or a little of the front of it. It just gives the image a little more depth because you've gone ahead and shown both legs, which is great, same as both hooves. So I'm just trying to bring it back to that. Also, it's a shame the picture is so dark because it looks like you've done quite a good job of shading and highlighting the hair. I would just... I kind of wish it was a little brighter so I could see that, but I understand what you're going for here. And yes, Maze, I understand the back legs there. I was just talking about the hip part of it.
I don't know if it's a deliberate stylistic choice, but like the hair and like especially the tail as well are also like very much like they got like a really fluffy like stroke texture kind of feel to them, and then like the body does not. Like the body's very cartoony-ish, like the lines are much thicker and more direct and deliberate. Even the tail here, where it like actually cuts over the body, like it just sort of looks like it's stamped on. So I don't know if that's a deliberate stylistic choice or not. But it's just a case of either you can like try and do the same sort of fluff to the body, just like make, like just make the things like a little bit softer, just so it like especially when here we've actually got like bits of fur where it's longer, and I do appreciate that you can sort of make it look a little bit thinner, so to speak, like in terms of the lines and detailing, and actually do the shading more soft, where the hair is very soft. And that way it could sort of help to balance things a little bit more.
You got anything to add to this, Allie?
I think the only thing would be, I'm curious about the program you're using. I think you could get so much good energy, and it could almost help your piece playing with line weight more. So the thing I'm looking at, if we look at all your lines, they all are the same size. And how they all end on this kind of like pointed. Well, some don't even have a pointed tip, but there's one there, and this one just cuts off, and this one kind of cuts off, and that one. So something to practice would be having your lines taper out. Also, things like thinner lines can also help a piece feel more fragile. And I know for a piece such as this, almost having that fragile feel, that appeal going on with thinner lines in some areas. Like in the wings, you can have really thin, like skinny lines to almost make it seem frail, how they're falling apart. The line weight you can use, and especially up at the horn, I almost feel like we miss out on the horn being cracked at the point because the lines are so thick. I almost didn't notice it first. So I think next time, no matter the piece you do, I think play with line weight. Check your computer settings or whatever you're drawing on. Check those settings to see if there are options available for that. If not, it's also very possible to just build up your line weight. Like you start with a thinner line and then you add thicknesses and parts that need thicker lines. So it's like kind of going over it twice and it can be annoying, but usually most art programs do have methods for helping with line taper and such like that. So that would be my suggestion for next time.
All right, shall we move on?
Yes, sir.
All right, our last picture submitted then. Oh, no, we should have one more. Why am I missing one? I'm missing a picture.
Did you forget one?
Yes, I did. Sorry, second last picture submitted. This one is by Fruities. New character I made. I drew this character and I wanted to know if I did a good job. Sorry, no color inversion for now. I was trying a bit of a new pose to draw and I would like to know, is it fine or is it a bit odd? Since I'm not too confident on my attempt. Also, I'd like to know, is the face fine? First time I drew in that kind of perspective. I hope the size of the drawing isn't too bad. I drew small for purpose because this means this is meant to be more of a design introductory drawing to a character, and I'll appreciate the feedback I get. The drawing's small, fine. Just playing. Paper's so cheap. Just draw as big as you need to go. Like I have entire sketchbooks of play, basically all my sketchbooks. It's just, yeah, just don't be afraid of large pictures. They really help you cram in the details and get the fine stuff worked out without going over the same small few little centimeters with a pencil over and over and over until you impact the paper so much that every time the pencil goes over it goes greater. Totally not used to this. Yeah, your face is fine. The muzzle's a little turned, but you can fix that in the next one. It's just a matter of pointing it like we've shown you before, with the happy little box on the end of the face. If you're going for that method, if you're going for like the anime side muzzle on everything, then you're fine. The show does exactly what you're doing quite often, where it sort of does side muzzle even if it's straight on. Because it's easy. And most people don't notice. I do like your character design. I assume they are a skier, painter, paintballer, welder, something like that. Man, welding as a pony would suck.
I think they do it, isn't it? We've seen it, haven't we?
Yeah, but you're just covered in fur.
It's like I was reading like the Pony Finder book, and it's like on the class with like the gunner class. It's like not many ponies like to be gunners because you kind of have to like get gunpowder in your mouth, and it's gross. This pose I feel like is a little bit off. I'm still trying to figure it out because like obviously when you're lifting like one of your four legs, you're gonna like get overbalanced a bit. So I almost want to shift the center of gravity in with this leg. That's why I've sort of had it come in a little bit from the body and spreading the back legs a little bit, but I don't know if it's really working. It's one of those cases where it's kind of hard to draw over like something that already exists because you just want it to be like exactly the same as what's underneath, but like slightly adjusted when that's not always the best choice. Sometimes it's best to just take the idea you've got and then redraw it from scratch and then see how it shakes up. I don't know about this back leg. Trying to get it in here, like spread it a little bit. That's rubbish. Ignore that. I don't know if he's doing like a beckoning thing or just like a shrug or what, but yeah, I'm still trying to look at the leg because the first thing that bothered me about this was the leg, I think, the held up one. So I'm just sort of looking at experimenting with that a little bit. And I don't feel like the leg should be able to bend out this far, but I think it can easily. It just looks weird to me. I'm not sure why. There's no reason why that pose wouldn't be possible. So maybe we could try spreading the other leg out this further. Yeah, like maybe his center of gravity is a bit lower. Just like he's bent down a little bit with a little bendy leg. I don't know. Oops, that's a bit too little.
Bendy leg.
It's okay just to slap color and explore things, or at least in digital. In drawing, you can just be a bit lighter with the pen, be messy, but there's only so much paper can take. It's good to experiment. Be like, okay, no, it doesn't work. Maybe a bit straighter. And just keep refining it until you have something you like. As long as he's not falling down, which I think he is going to fall down. So, as I'm talking about the center of gravity, it's important to consider like where a character's weight is falling. Obviously, the more spread their legs are, the lower their center of gravity is going to be, which means they're not. They haven't, like if they're super tall, like a giraffe, they're going to have like a lot of weight on top. That's going to be easy to fall over. But if they're lower down, then there's less gravity to fall with. I'm trying to draw and talk at the same time. I don't know. Happy to experiment, but yeah, do some experimenting yourself. Just take a different piece of paper and just leave this one and try drawing the pose again. Just like don't even bother with all the details like the visor and all that sort of stuff and the lovely like eye details. Just draw just the pose again and see if you can figure things out better. Just take that idea fresh and just say, okay, I'm just gonna do the under sketch like you saw me doing earlier with the circles and lines and everything. Like, oh, here's a body. Here's where the back leg goes off the canvas, and here's where the front leg goes. Yeah. Just practice with getting the pose down, and then hopefully you'll come up with something where it's like, okay, this looks a bit better now. I understand it a bit better now. Or maybe it won't. Maybe this one's fine. But it's, you never know until you experiment.
Alright then, let's move on to our next picture. Spooky pictures down beneath. Oh, that's too big. I gotta scale it.
Big picture.
Big picture. Oh, apparently I did download it. I was just a dumby. I even scaled the picture for me. Just never pasted it. We're gonna stick it over here. Why not? Okay, apparently... Yeah, that's on more than one layer, Fluffy!
I drew the things on... Okay, there we go.
Alright. This is now pasted on layer 4. We can only use layer 3 to draw on it. Alright, this one is by Waxwolf. Like, do you guys come up with harder and harder usernames for me here? Is this a contest?
They just want to try to make us say the weirdest things. That's what it comes down to.
Have you guys heard any of Game Grumps live streams? It's pretty much just that whenever they get their donations.
Hi, I'm new to this subreddit. What do you think about my picture? I think it's a picture. And I like that it's traditional.
Well,
Because
it shows a lot of cute funniness, and I love the scene you're trying to do here. It is very, very hard to like put together a scene of characters interacting, so I applaud you on attempting that. It is really, really good to see people trying to like draw like a world with like life in it and characters doing things together. I love that.
1 second. Apparently, shit. Of course, that turned back on. Apparently, people have been barely able to hear you guys. The entire time.
LD.
It's all good as long as it's on the recording.
Just you gotta go in your sound settings and turn on loudness equalizer, and then you can hear us.
Let's see if that works now.
I can't imagine what thing being activated causes sound to go weird?
Audio attenuation.
Uh,
OBS expects the audio not to attenuate, so it's like, hey, I'm just gonna, take whatever's coming straight off the system. I set my audio attenuation on so I quiet down every other app, but apparently when you quiet down OBS, it decides that also the input's gonna be quieted down. Because it's stupid.
okay, that is weird, and I hope that mine doesn't do that.
Audio attenuation is great.
I don't even know what it means.
It's when people talk, the other applications will get quieter so you can hear the people talking. So if I'm playing a
Fancy.
game and I want to be able to hear my teammates clearly, audio attenuation ducks the audio. So this person seems to have a very stretched body style. It seems to be working for them because
Yeah, I like it.
everything's
Yeah.
stretched. Can you hear everyone better there, Donnie?
The only thing I would change up is I know in this show they kind of have the legs coming out of the chest, like not quite at the ends, but for such a long leg style, to me personally, now this could be a subjective critique, so take it as you want or don't at all. But having it come more out of the side of the chest feels way more natural to just how long the legs are.
Yeah.
Yeah, because right now they're just kind of sticks coming out of the middle. Where since you have such long, tall ponies, you can get a little more life with them coming out of the side rather than the middle, and then you can still have the center bits touch him, but it's something you play with. I know you're kind of mixing some styles here. You got like the show style, and then you also got the long leg pony and stretched up ponies. So it's almost like a stretch show style. So you just play around, find what works for you. But I would say try to incorporate the body more into where the legs come out, because I think that's ultimately will help define like the form more. There we go. That's more the shape I wanted. So yeah, it takes just some trial and error.
Or other things, so I'm looking at planes. Ah, I can't. I thought there was a slider for rotating the image. There's not. I don't know how to do that now. Oh, I did it too much by accident. Oh gosh, it's going the wrong way. Oh, what the... Dang it. Okay.
And if I
There we
recall
go.
correctly, you're new to the subreddit. So welcome to the subreddit. I hope you enjoy this little live stream. We pretty much do this. If anyone hasn't gotten much critique, we sweep them all up at the Tuesday of the week and help give critique where we can. And since you're new, go give critique. Watch the little video pinned at the top of the subreddit, and then go out and give critique, because everyone can give critique. As long as you're polite, everyone can give
Yes.
critique.
It's not as hard as you might think. Yeah, sorry, it took me like a whole 30 seconds just to figure out how to swap my rotate my screen. So the other thing is looking at planes. I'm just gonna draw. Oh, it's a bit off, but I'm just trying to draw like a horizon on here. Just undo a bit of that. Rotating to make straighter lines, but then also my vision is skewed. So like the thing is that this pony over here looks a little bit off to the other characters because she doesn't feel like she feels like she's sitting on. Let's see if I sort of like try to define where she is. She's like here. If I like we're looking down at her from above, and the other characters feel like a little bit more like they're front on. if that makes any sense. So we're seeing them more like if we were standing in front of them rather than above them. Well, this is something that you can sketch out super quickly just to like help define how a character should be standing, and it helps you understand the 3D space of the image. So if we just like draw a little square here, helping us to say, okay, this pony is in the same position. She's standing on the ground, not on, unless she's on like a ramp or something that's going down. I don't know, but I'm gonna assume she's standing on the ground with everyone else, and this is gonna be the plane we're gonna use. Her legs are also like going off to the direction here, so like she's actually like this is where she's standing. You can see she's like leaning to the side. If we go like straight up, like straight into the back of the head there. So like she's leaning to the side. I'm just gonna like leave this here just so you can sort of use that as a visual reference. But yeah, it's really good to like think about how a character's body is positioned to think, and sort of where the legs are gonna go, so that you know they're not gonna fall over. I'm not very good with walking poses or legs, but yeah, it'll be something like this. Maybe even further in, looking at things, just to help really push that. Like her leg's gonna be forward because she's walking. Balance that center of gravity a bit. There we go. So I hope that helps.
Yeah.
Alright, well that appears to be it for our art this week. If anyone else has any art, please feel free to throw it at our faces. If not, we'll call it a week. And we'll see you again next week.
Yeah. Have a happy and safe spoopy day.
Spoopy.
Yeah.
Don't forget to eat all the Halloween candy. Just
All.
one big, great nom.
And if you don't like candy, eat an apple. Yeah.
A candy apple.
Candy apple, yeah.
Wait a moment. Alright, well that appears to be it, so we'll talk to you all later. Goodbye.
Bye.
Oh boy.